After over 1,000 hours across the CN and global servers, the number one mistake I see is players tuning their gear without understanding the stats behind it. Today I'm fixing that. Once you have the foundation, you know exactly how to tune and perfect your gear for any build in the game. Alright, let's go. Before diving into the mechanics of gear tuning, we must first understand what each stat in the game actually does and how they affect your damage output. There are 5 base attributes in the game. Body and defense are defensive stats which are pretty useless for PvE. And so the only 3 stats that we care about are power, agility, and momentum. So power is equal to almost the same as a max physical attack line. I think the conversion is 85% max physical attack and 15% min physical attack. Now, agility is essentially the same as half a line of crit rate and half a line of min physical attack, whereas momentum is equal to half a line of affinity rate and half a line of max physical attack. Well, apart from the 5 base attributes, we also need to look at physical attack and attribute attack. Physical attack is pretty self-explanatory, but attribute attack is quite interesting. So we have things like Bell Strike, Stone Split, Silkbind, etc. And what we really care about is attribute attack for your path and non-path attribute attack. So for example, I'm using a Stone Split build right now. As you can see, my Stone Split attack is a lot higher than the rest. When you roll for attribute attack on your gear, you can either get a min attribute or a max attribute. And if you look at my bamboo cart attack, it says 30 and 0, but my range is 30 to 30. How does this work? So all I have for bamboo cart attack is 30 min bamboo cart attack. Because I started with 0, 30 min bamboo cart attack gives me a 30 to 30 range. So it increases the min and the max, which is why non-path attribute attack is actually not a bad line to get. And if you look at Silkbind attack, I have 30 to 30, which means I have a line of 30 min Silkbind attack and a line of 30 max Silkbind attack, and it gives me exactly the same range as just one line of min bamboo cart attack. So you can see that max non-path attribute attack lines are total trash, so you should try and get rid of them. So what makes path attribute attack better than non-path attribute attack? Well, there are 2 martial art talents, one which increases your path attribute attack by 50%, while the other gives you some passive path attribute penetration. Next up, we have the 3 rates: precision, critical, and affinity rates. For these 3 rates, the number that matters is the yellow number on the right, because it takes into account the resistances of the enemies at your current level. The precision rate decides whether the attack you land is a precision hit or an abrasion hit, and if it's an abrasion hit, the damage will be calculated solely based on your min attack, and the hit cannot be a critical strike. So for most builds, you want as close to 100% precision rate as possible. Critical rate works the same as most other games. When you land a critical strike, your attack will deal 50% more damage, which can be further boosted by martial art talents as well as inner ways. While the effective critical rate is capped at 80%, it can be further boosted by the direct critical rate. So for example, for the Stone Split strength path, the maximum critical rate you can achieve would be 80% plus 9.2%, which will be 89.2%. Affinity strikes are similar to critical strikes, but with some key differences. Affinity strikes deal only 35% more damage, which can be further boosted by martial art talents and inner ways. But it's also only based off your max attack. So every affinity strike will always deal the same amount of damage. Affinity is also unaffected by precision. To better explain the relationship between the 3 rates, I have created a flowchart which demonstrates how the game decides whether the next hit you land is going to be a precision, critical, affinity, or abrasion hit. Now that we know the difference between critical rate and affinity rate, I want to take a quick detour and explain about affinity and crit classes. Currently in Where Winds Meet, Both on Global and CN, there are only two Affinity builds, which are Bellstrike Splendor and Bellstrike Umbra. And the difference between an Affinity build and a Crit Rate build is that for Affinity builds, since Affinity is only affected by max attack, you want to focus on getting max physical damage and max Bellstrike damage as opposed to min physical damage and min Bellstrike damage. And the reason the Bellstrike classes are Affinity classes is because their martial art talents and inner ways boost Affinity damage. Physical penetration and attribute attack penetration both increase your physical or attribute attack by around 0.5% per point. However, physical penetration is worth a lot more than attribute attack penetration. If we quickly have a look at our damage distribution, you can see that my physical attack is from 1042 to 2057, whereas my attribute attack only goes from 336 to 762. So my physical attack is more than double that of my attribute attack. This is mainly because physical attack lines on a piece of gear gives double the value of attribute attack. And this is why we always prefer physical attack lines over attribute attack lines. All martial art skill damage boost and specified weapon martial art damage boost are very similar. All martial art damage boost is a final damage multiplier on everything you do, including basic attacks for all of your martial arts, whereas specified weapon martial art damage boost boosts all of your damage for a specific weapon. For example, if I have a line of mobile damage boost, which sadly I don't have, it will increase all the damage I do with my mobile. Lastly, damage boost versus boss units or boss damage gives a final damage multiplier versus bosses. And PvP boost is exactly the same but for PvP. These three damage boosts are extremely good, and you should always try to get them on your gear, but it can be quite difficult. Again, more on that in the gear tuning section. One final note before we move on. The healing boost and damage reduction sections can be safely ignored by most players, seeing as healers are Silkbind anyway, so they will be naturally tuning for physical attack and Silkbind attack, which will boost their healing output. And defensive stats are only useful in a very niche case for tanks in GVG. Okay, now that you have a basic understanding of how the stats work and how they contribute to your overall damage output, let's move on to the actual gear tuning. For this section, I'm going to show you clips from my stream where I live tuned all of the gear that I'm currently wearing, as well as doing a damage test before and after to show you guys exactly how much my damage improved after getting some good gear. I'm sure you're all excited for this part, so let's get to it. Okay, so we're gonna do a damage test before. So basically my gear is really bad. So I haven't really tapped any gear. I mean, I've still got like Bellstrike penetration here. I have like the wrong attunements for a lot of this gear. So I saved up a lot of chests, gear chests, so that we can have everything and try to get best gear we can. And you can see on the bottom right, I've got the sort of the tiers of all the stat lines that I want. So without further ado, let's start with the damage test. So, oh, and also for my inner ways, I have everything at tier 6. So I'm playing the swap build for the stone split strength, so which requires you to have steadfast devotion. Generally on this patch, I think this build does a bit more damage than the Humblade only build, but it does require a bit more of a rotation. So, all right, let's go. Going much better this time. Yeah, so that's about the baseline. So with my current build, with doing the rotation perfectly, I can get about 20,500 DPS. So now let's go and see what we can, how much difference gear actually makes. Let's take a look. What should I tap first? So this ring, even though it has okay lines, but it has bell side penetration. So I'm probably going to just reattune this, because this is the only bad line, and it's not even that bad. And I'm just trying to find the worst piece of gear is probably this, because this is all purple and it's got a lot of trash lines. Let's see. So this is also not great. 2 min lines. These are okay. I need the precision, and I can reroll this. But it's the first line's agility, because I just used the first piece of gear that I could tap. So I probably want to reroll the Mo Blade, and I want the Mo Blade. Actually, I think the best thing is to try and get a Mo Blade damage line. That will give us the most boost, and then it will be the pants, because I'm trying to get boss damage on that. Okay, so let me see if I can get a good Mo Blade. Nope, trash. 86. Doesn't matter if it's Jadeware, I can change that later. Okay, max physical attack. It's not a gold line, but we'll take it. It's close. I'm gonna try the Mo Blade first, and then let's see how we get where we get with this. And I'll probably get a lot of shells from opening the chest as well. So just give me Mo Blade. Oh, okay. So if I get more than one bad line, I'm just gonna stop with this piece of gear. Min physical. I mean, compared to this has agility max. I mean, this has min and max. It's close. Like I'm gonna tune this. Like I'm probably gonna use a purple shell. See if I get lucky, I get lucky. Okay, yeah, so this one's kind of trash. I'm not gonna touch it anymore. Right, let's try and go with the helmet. So let's see, have a look at my stats first. I'm off by a lot of crit. So probably want to go with the crit as the first line for the helmet. So let's see if we can find one. Okay, so let's open some chests first. Let's just open like 50. Oh, crit rate, but it's not on the helmet. Man, am I not even gonna get a single helmet? HP. Or trash lines. Trash lines. Bye. Okay, well, let's open some more chests. I think I can open all of them. Okay, so there's a few sent to mail. Max HP. God damn it. At least I got a max physical attack on this. Okay, let's check the purple gears. Nope, none of these are good. Affinity rate. I mean, I'm tempted to keep some of these just in case I run out of gear to tap later. It's not too bad, like 2.4. And then obviously reroll, recycle the rest. And I have some in the mail. Let's claim. Anything good? Oh, that's a good one. So I'm gonna keep this and tab. So hopefully we can get a max physical attack. No. Sort of relatively worse first line. Okay. I'll take it. Okay, mobile damage. Affinity rate. Not the best. But I'm not the best one. So if I were to reroll this. Now. This. Not the best. No mobile damage, but it's definitely better than what I have right now. Especially if I reroll this. So we'll keep that for later. It's a bit of a you know, it's gonna be around the same depending on luck on what lines I get. So for helmet, you can't get any of the god tier lines, so you want a bit more crit affinity and precision on your helmet. Okay, so this is a really bad line, even though it says recommended. I'm definitely re-rolling this if everything else is good lines. Okay, so this is better, but it's still kind of trash. Affinity rate. Okay, I have way too much affinity now. And I kind of don't want to waste another gold shell because I might run out on this one. So let's see if I get lucky. Ugh. I mean, this just boosts flute, which doesn't do that much damage. So it's kind of bad. All right. Let's tap a precision rate. Okay, so both for 4.5%. So let's go with the gold one. Oh my god, that was a terrible line. Okay, so if I get another bad line, we stop rolling and we stop right there. And let's roll the purple one. God, I'm so unlucky with the rolls today. We still have some golds. I'm kind of running low on the gold shells. I might just do like a purple one to see if I get lucky on the first line. Oh, that would have been a good line. Okay, let's just roll purples. Okay. I mean, this piece of gear is kind of bad now. Yep. Okay, let's try and get another helmet. Oh, actually, just before that, let me just check. Okay, so it actually has charge phalanx blade charge skill. So snow. Okay, so I need to re-roll this. Actually, the first thing I want to do, because I'm gonna keep this piece of gear. This is because it has boss damage. I'm keeping this no matter what. So I might actually just re-roll this first because these reattunement stones are in short supply. So I want a phalanx blade charge damage. Oh my god, that's amazing. All right, this piece of gear is amazing. Okay, so this piece of gear, I don't think I'm gonna touch it just because even though it doesn't have max physical attack, it has power and it has boss damage with a really juiced up attunement. So all right, this piece, the gloves are done. So I probably want to actually tap the chest piece next because it has max silk bind, which is really bad, and I mean stone split is not that great either, and it has a bad attunement. So let's see if we can get a better line. And I think we have some very good chest pieces that we can actually tap. So there's a 6.4. Yeah, so there's a lot. Okay, so this is 6.4. Let's go with this one, even though it's the wrong set, but it doesn't matter. Okay. All right, this is like a maxed out line. If we get some good lines on line 2 to 4, I'm gonna start using the premium supreme shells. Oh, this is like one of the worst lines you can get. Like, this is no, I didn't even put these in the tier because they're just really bad. Oh, I forgot to put the stones in. Affinity again. I mean, it's okay, but I might be overcapped on affinity soon. But let's see what the third one gives us. Okay, min soapbind. Ugh. Okay, I'm gonna use a purple shell. And if the last line is max physical attack, I'll still try to use this. Precision. Okay. So if I were to roll, I would re-roll this line. The area mystic skill damage. But this piece of gear is not that great, and I have a lot more I can try and get better stats on. So let's find another crit rate, which is slightly less crit rate. Because crit rate is what I'm missing the most right now. Okay. Please give me max physical. Why does it keep giving me these lines? These are like so bad. Because mystic skills are just a tiny part of your damage. Okay. Give me a good line. Oh, God. Right. Right, on to the next piece of gear. Crit rate 5.5. Not too bad. Let's try. I'm running out of shells as well. So I gotta be a bit more careful. Okay, precision is okay, but I'm overcapped. So I might have to remove some precision lines from other pieces of gear. Let's just see what we get. Okay, max stone split, not the worst. Power, okay, we're getting somewhere. All right, I think I'm gonna use a premium shell for the last line. Hopefully it gives me max physical attack. Okay, body. So this piece of gear is pretty good. I'm gonna try and re-roll the body line and see what we get. Oh, yeah. So I'm running out of these shells. Sorry, the retuning stones. But okay, come on, max physical attack. Oh, min physical. Okay, could be worse. So this is definitely better than what I currently have on right now. So, and also I can lose the momentum line, which would bring down my affinity a little bit. Okay, so let's see if we can re-roll a phalanx blade. Charge attack damage. Okay, doesn't matter. Nope. Okay, 6 more tries. Oh, I have to select one. Okay, I'm just gonna pick this. Oh my God. I have 4 tries. Really? Come on. Okay, alright. We got it. We got it. I'm gonna try and save these reattunement stones for other gear. Okay, so let's put this on. So we're definitely gonna use this. Even though it doesn't have max physical attack, power is essentially the same. So it's not too bad. And so we have this done. So we need to get helmet, pants. I'm running out of shells though, so it's a little bit worrying. So I might have to settle with the Moblade I tapped earlier. I think, okay, so it's this one. This has max physical, max stone split. Okay, so I'm gonna put this on and check my stats. Okay, so I have a little bit under 100. This is okay for precision. Still missing a lot of crit rate. My final crit rate is about 67%. So I'm still missing around 13% crit rate. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna try and tap this because it has power being the first line. Hopefully we can get some max physical attack, damage the boss, and crit rate. So those are the lines I'm looking for, and power because we can get another line of power. Max stone split attack, not the best. I'll take it. Oh yes, I got a shell back. Okay, so min silk bind attack, a tier 2 line. So we'll be looking to reroll this if we get good lines in the other places. Oh, got to put the stones in. Okay, crit rate, awesome. That's what I want. And then if this is the boss line and then this rerolls into max physical attack, I'll be so happy. Okay. Please. Oh my god. Okay, so we're gonna have to reroll this line if we want to use this. Let's just see what. Okay, phalanx blade charge skill. So we have, at least we have this, so we don't need to waste any re-attunement stones. Now, let me just compare the two pieces of gear. So I'm going to re-roll the defense. So this is definitely going to be better. So it has power, it has more crit. It doesn't have max physical attack. Doesn't have max physical attack then, but I can re-roll the defense line. And then the min bamboo cut is a little bit better. Well, the min silk bind has a bit more higher value than the min bamboo cut, so it's definitely better. So it's an upgrade, is an upgrade is an upgrade. So we want to get a good line. I'm gonna use a premium shell. Wish me luck. Okay, not the best, but it's better than what I have. So this one is also 2.8, 2.8, 2.8. Okay. So lastly, we have the helmet. And yeah, so these are okay. These are all usable. So we'll try and get something for the helmet. So the choices we have are, hold on, let's see what gear we have. So we have, actually we have no choice. Jeez, look at all these rolls. How unlucky can I get? It's like physical defense, HP. The only thing I can actually try and tap is, yeah, it's the precision rate. So let me just quickly check that I'm not capped on precision. So okay, yeah, so it's not bad. So if I can get something good from this, okay, we have enough shells. We have 4 shells. So in the worst case scenario, we'll have enough to finish this piece of gear. Let's hope we get some shells back though. Oh god. This is like the worst thing to see as the first line. Ooh. Alright, alright. Okay. Some faith. I'm getting some faith back in my luck. Almost a maxed out physical. Please be what do I actually want? I want power. Power, crit rate, or agility. Okay, let's be one of those. Okay. It keeps giving me stone split. Okay, I can't get any more of the elemental damage lines because you can only get 2 per piece of gear. I can't get physical attack, can't get elemental damage. So it can really be power, crit rate, affinity, and obviously the trash lines like armor and HP. Please don't be one of those. Please, 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 please. Oh, this game hates me. This game really hates me. So sad. I got the shell back though. Okay, so we're gonna have to live with silk bind attack. It's obviously better than physical defense. Let's see what the attunement we get is. Okay, so this is not great. Okay, so if we can get a really good attunement, I will go and get one more stone so we can actually reroll this line since we got a shell back. All right. Let's see. Don't want this. Ooh, oh, that is a sick line. Okay. Please give me what do I want? Power or crit? I think are the best options. Power, crit, agility, they're all good. Okay. Crit rate. Okay, not bad. Not bad. I take it. So this is a 4-line, so just the max silk bind attack is a bit terrible. But it has a really good attunement. So okay. So let's have a look at our stats. So we lost some precision rate. We gained some crit rate. We lost so crit rate we have almost 70% now, and then affinity is okay, so it's just around about where I want it to be, just below 20%. We do want a bit more precision rate though, but we'll fix that later. Okay, all right, time for the damage test. Blue charge attacks. A little bit slow. Okay, so 22-3. So I think this is the good average that you can get to. I think around 22,000. So we improved by almost 2,000 DPS. All right, hopefully that gave you guys a solid foundation on the thought process behind tuning your gear. And to thank you for watching this video all the way until the end, I'll give you guys a few additional tips. Gold tuning shells are a huge bottleneck in the current tier, so make sure you do your daily gear farms. And if you still don't have a farming tower yet, make sure you check out my farming tower guide so you can get your daily gear farm done in under 5 minutes. Retuning stones and reattunement stones are also a very scarce resource, so make sure you don't waste them and save them for the pieces of gear that you want to keep until the end of the tier. And if you are a new player that just reached endgame, don't waste all of your resources on 1 or 2 pieces of gear. Try to get a whole set that's usable. You can always go back and upgrade them as you get fresh resources each week. And lastly, don't waste your energy pills, because I have a feeling from level 91 onwards, you will be able to upgrade gear. Once we get that system, min-maxing your gear will finally be worthwhile. Thank you guys for watching this video, and I hope you found the guide useful. As always, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one.